Yes. Okay, it's been a minute since I did an overview look at Shield Fighter. Thought I would make a handy little resource for anyone who's interested in the class or the playstyle. So if you're thinking about a new main for this season, or maybe you're just a little bit shield curious, right? This video's for you. Got him. I'm in trouble. Uh-oh. Huh. What is happening? Run away. Run away. What was that even? We're running. We're running away. So the first question, the most obvious question, is what is it? What is a shield fighter? It's a version of fighter that relies on the use of a shield and a blocking first playstyle. Oh, I got him. Just barely, my friend. Just barely. So right now, as of September 2024, only fighter has access to perks that give bonuses after a successful block. These bonuses let your player swing very quickly out of the counterattack. So that's very good for fast weapons like the arming sword and heavy hitting weapons like the mace. The mace has a high base damage output and native armor penetration. So a weapon like a mace combined with the fast swing speed that comes out of a counterattack is a really devastating combo. Overall, the shield fighter aims to minimize damage coming in by blocking and maximize damage going out because of the counterattack speed. It's a really versatile build that can be both fast and tanky. I like it because it feels like I have a fighting chance against any other class, any other player I come across in the dungeon. I never feel like I'm hard countered playing as a shield fighter. It also has a very high ceiling for melee skill expression, and I think it's really fun and rewarding when you get it to click. It's got its share of problems, I'm not going to lie, there are issues with blocking. But when it works, it really works. Oh, hit the wall. I got him. GG, man. So if that's what it is, let's talk about why is it good. The main thing that makes this class powerful is the shield's potential for blocking. No other item, no other commonly available item at least, in the game has the same potential to completely prevent taking damage. Even the lowest quality shield, right? A poor heater shield will still block 100% of all incoming damage if the block is positioned correctly. He's kind of trapped here. Just keep him boxed in if I can. Wait for here's my ability. We space him. Number 3. There we go. Here we go. Going for 2. Okay, nice work. GG, man. The shield, in my opinion, is easier to use than the longsword and offers a little more versatility. It's good versus melee. Got him. It's good versus range damage. It's good versus magic damage.
I think it's low. Dude, how is he
Yeah,
able
this guy's
to?
just, he's just 1v2ing us. He's
How
just
is he
that good.
able to actually like track me while invis? I need to actually see his def cam, see if it was like really that hard.
Oh man, I have some good loot. Be patient. Okay.
Maybe I was too predictable. I think I was too
Really?
predictable. I thought I was unpredictable. I was too predictable, I
Really?
guess.
It has the potential to block all three of those things. Shields are also really great for fighting PvE and general survivability. Get me out of here. Oy, 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 oy. Thanks to this item, I'm able to get in and get out of deeper dungeon raids, survive more, and make more money.
Dude,
Great.
having a shield bro in
Yeah.
here is such a boon, man.
Shield bro at your service. Okay, let's talk about how it works. How does it work? So the build uses a shield and single-handed weapon in the primary slot, with a blocking first playstyle that aims to prevent incoming damage and also give bonuses to your attacks. The key is waiting for your opponents to attack you first. Wow. Wow. Waiting and getting a successful shield block kicks your bonuses into gear. This is not necessarily a tank and trade kind of build. This is a more thoughtful and intentional approach to melee combat. The goal is to combine gear to optimize your stats and your perks to maximize the speed of your blocking and your counterattacks. Got him. Action speed determines how quickly your character puts the shield up, or in other words, enters defensive stance, and how quickly your character swings a weapon. Dexterity is the primary stat that influences your action speed. So in a nutshell, the higher your dexterity is, the more action speed you're going to have. And you can see that here. As I take off some of this jewelry and a few of these items, right now I've got a dexterity of 23, thanks to these core pieces, and an action speed of 7%. As I layer these back on, you can see that as my dexterity increases, so does my action speed. Also keep in mind, you can get action speed as an additional enchantment on some pieces, which is going to increase your block speed and swing speed. So even though these plate pants don't give me any dexterity, because we have the additional 1.2% action speed, I'm going to feel that bonus, again, even though this piece doesn't give me any actual dexterity. So there's kind of two ways to go about it. You can stack up pieces that give you dexterity, or if you want more action speed on certain pieces that don't give dexterity, you can get that as a separate enchantment. Whoa! Took that too casually, I think. Too casually. And just to close off this section, here are some quick examples of my character swinging with different amounts of dexterity with different action speeds. So here is 15 dexterity, 0% action speed on the left, compared to 20 dexterity on the right. Here's the blocks. And here's 15 dexterity on the left and 30 dexterity on the right. To make a shield fighter, in my opinion, there are two essential perks you have to pick, and then there's some flexibility depending on your preference. To start, you're going to need shield mastery and counterattack. Both of these perks reward the player for making a successful block.
Nice. Last one. Yeah, you can touch him and he's pretty lit.
Got him.
Very nice. Good job, brother.
Shield Mastery supercharges the first action you take after blocking with a 50% action speed bonus, which allows you to swing incredibly quickly. There's actually a typo in this card. It says that you get a 50% action speed bonus towards your next block, but actually it's towards your next action, including an attack. So if you think of it like the bonus is applied to the first action you take after a successful block, that action can be an attack, and if you time this correctly, you can get a super fast single attack after a successful shield block. So Shield Mastery is very important. Counterattack also increases your action speed after a successful block, and also gives you a movement speed boost as well, which is great for chasing faster players or repositioning in a melee fight. Got him. So because both of these perks reward a blocking first, counterattacking playstyle, they are, in my opinion, the cornerstone of the Shield Fighter build. Yikes. From here, the remaining two perks can vary depending on your preference and your build. I like Barricade because it gives more armor rating and an extra 50 magic resist when you're in defensive stance. So if I have my shield up and I get hit around my shield by melee or by magic, I'm going to take less damage. But you might want to take Swift if you're wearing heavier armor, depending. Swift is a very powerful perk. Adrenaline Spike can also be very useful. If your health dips below 40%, you get another 15% bonus action speed for 12 seconds. This can really help at the end of melee combat when all you need is 1 or 2 more strikes to win the fight. Adrenaline Spike can really come in clutch in some situations. Wow. GG, man. Or going with Weapon Mastery will allow your fighter to access way more weapons that could be more fun or more comfortable for you. There's a rogue right here. I missed the rogue. I gotta keep shooting at the warlock, though. Got him. Because I'm playing primarily with a mace, you won't see me pick Sword Mastery, but this can be great if you're running with an arming sword or a falchion. For now, I'll stick to my old faithful Barricade and Adrenaline Spike. Okay, let's talk about skills. What skill should I pick? If you are just starting out as a shield fighter, or if you're newer to the game in general, Second Wind is a great way to get back 40% of your HP. This is great for dungeon diving and fighting PvE. Spiders are here. Yeah, I'm getting a Second Wind. I'm just gonna keep kiting. Okay, very good. This is great if you are looking to loot up and extract more reliably and build wealth, especially in the early mid-wipe. Okay, I'm blue. Stay away from me.
Alright, stay away. Yep.
Get a Second Wind. For me, because I'm playing a lot of solos, and movement speed is so important in solos, Sprint provides a burst of movement that is very, very valuable. It can help you close the gap on an unsuspecting opponent. It can help you chase down a faster player who wants to run. It can also help you get out of the danger zone after taking too much damage in PvP. Sprint has a lot of versatility, and I always tend to feel a bit naked without it. Nice try, man. Zap. He missed.
Better, bro.
Got him. As you get more experience with the game, or get more familiar playing with the class, I recommend swapping Second Wind for Perfect Block. Perfect Block is for more intermediate players who are getting comfortable with blocking the heavy melee weapons. This skill maximizes your shield's impact resistance, and ensures you can interrupt heavy melee combos. Got him. Including from some mobs, like the Berserker in Inferno.
Yeah, give that perfect block. I heard that.
Interrupting the weapon combos of the heavy melee gives you time to launch effective counterattacks, and can be really, really good against some of the strongest weapons in the game. But again, I would recommend this only after you've got comfortable with some of the basics. Now we'll quickly talk about some of the differences between the three primary shields. The key differences are the visibility around the shields. Some shields are much easier to see around and over than others when you're in defensive stance. The move speed penalty. Some shields are bigger and heavier, which make you slower. And impact resistance. The shield's ability to block and interrupt the incoming combos of various melee weapons. Those are the main differences. The heater shield is the biggest and easiest shield to use, in my opinion. It's great for people who are new to the class. It's the biggest single-handed shield and offers a good amount of coverage. That coverage comes a bit at the expense of visibility, though it can be hard to see around the shield when it's up in defensive stance. The round shield is a medium-sized shield that offers a little more visibility than the heater shield and is slightly faster, with the trade-off being the round shield has a lower impact resistance, which means it's going to take longer for you to block and recover from successful blocking against some of the heavier melee. In my opinion, because the size and movement speed of the round shield is very similar to the heater, you're better off going with the heater shield because it just offers more advantages. Darn. Missed him. Got him. Oh. 1 HP. 1 HP. Next is the buckler. The buckler is a small, round metal shield that offers a good degree of visibility at the expense of its blocking coverage. It's a very small shield that you have to aim very precisely if you want to get the successful block. The buckler shield also has a very high impact resistance, meaning that it can stop and interrupt the attack combos of very heavy melee weapons. We'll talk more about impact resistance and weapon impact power in a sec. It's also quite fast, with a movement speed penalty of only -12. But this comes again at the expense of its coverage. It is a very small shield, it is very difficult to block all the different kinds of incoming damage that you're going to face, from melee to range to magic. I'm not going to talk about the Bavis or the Lantern Shield in this video. These are more specialty shields, with use cases that I don't think really fit neatly into an intro to shield fighter video. You can explore these on your own, or you can check out Lyrebird's YouTube channel, since this is 100% his specialty. I jumped down. He missed. I'm blocking. He's distracted on me. We got him.
Good work.
Nice work, buddy. Good push on the door. The next important thing to talk about is shield staggering and impact resistance. Every weapon in the game has an impact power. Take these weapons for example. The Hatchet, the Falchion, the Morningstar, the Bardiche. The Hatchet has an impact power of 3, the Falchion 4, Morningstar 5, and the Bardiche also has an impact power of 5. All shields in the game also have an impact resistance, and that rating isn't obvious. It's not listed anywhere here in-game. The round shield has an impact resistance of 4, heater shield 5, and the buckler shield has an impact resistance of 6. The relationship between a weapon's impact power and your shield's impact resistance determines the severity and length of the shield stagger animation your character sees after a successful block. There's a light stagger, a medium stagger, and a heavy stagger animation you could see. Here's an example of a light stagger. a medium stagger, and a heavy stagger. Which stagger animation you see is determined by the relationship between the weapon's impact power and your shield's impact resistance. So for example, if a hatchet is blocked by the round shield, we see a light stagger animation. If a falchion is blocked by a round shield, we see a medium stagger. And if a morning star is blocked by the round shield, we see a heavy stagger animation. So as a shield fighter, being able to anticipate the amount of stagger that you're going to receive after blocking a particular weapon is in your interest because it helps you time your counterattack, or lets you know if there is just straight up no time for a counterattack. Also note that if the shield's impact resistance is greater than the incoming weapon's impact power, that weapon's attack combo will be stopped and reset. This is very, very important and very valuable as a shield fighter, as having a higher impact resistance on our shield and being able to stop and interrupt the combos of melee weapons attacking us allows for more predictability in melee combat. Because the heater shield and Bardiche are tied at 5 for impact resistance and impact power, that means the Bardiche is not able to power through the heater shield. The Bardiche's attack combo is reset, and it is much easier to counterattack against the Bardiche or to reposition as you see fit. So we see a round shield that has a lower impact resistance than the Bardiche. The Bardiche is able to freely swing through the blocks of the round shield. This makes it very difficult for the shield fighter to get close, close the gap, be positioned for a counterattack. The timing and the spacing is so difficult when the shield is constantly showing the heavy stagger animation. This is why I choose the heater shield as my primary shield, because with an impact resistance of 5, the heater shield is not likely to be heavily staggered by any weapon in the game. The only thing that can heavily stagger a heater shield is a barbarian with the crush perk applied to the heaviest melee, like a Bardiche. He's kind of trapped here. A bear's attack, which has an impact power of 10, I think, which is wild.
Try to block it now.
Or some of the other heavy attacks from PvE in the dungeon, like the Skelly Champ or the Berserker. Yeah, that charge attack is pretty dangerous. This is also where Perfect Block can be used to increase the impact resistance, the blocking power of a shield. Blocking more reliably comes from being able to predict how and where your opponent will attack next. So anytime your shield can interrupt the attack combo of your opponent and reset them to the beginning of their moveset, that is advantageous for us because we now know where the next attack is likely to come from. Close. The next question is about gear. There are lots of different ways to build gear up for a shield fighter, but here are the combos I like. There are 3 of them. One is more balanced, one is heavier, one is lighter. Each of these kits focus on dexterity and agility as the primary stats. Because most of the time I'm playing in solos, you just cannot ignore movement speed, so agility has a role to play, but we're always trying to stack for dexterity. Okay, here's a look at the balanced kit. This is a highly versatile shield fighter build that is both fast and tanky. This is a build I use primarily in solos, and I pick it when I want to have a fighting chance against basically every other class I come across in the dungeon. Versatility here is the name of the game. With all these kits, you'll see I'm stacking just uncommons for the base pieces. This is kind of like the middle concept. With these uncommon pieces and a blue mace, right, everything else is just common or poor, I have a gear score of 107. So this gives you some room to work. You can recreate this with your Squire kit if you want. You can layer more stuff into this build and still play in mid-roller if you want. You can also find the highest quality version of these pieces and go into high roller or uncapped lobbies. The choice is yours, but just so you know, these builds are all going to feature an uncommon set to give you an idea of the stats. This build uses a Crusader helm, Grand Brigandine, cloth pants, adventurer boots, and light gauntlets. With this uncommon setup, we have a dexterity of 27. Agility is 23, so pretty good. Action speed is 13.5%. Move speed is 289, 96.3% with our fists out. When you add sprint to the mix, that gives you a good amount of movement speed in a solos environment to either chase down or to run away. Again, I picked this build when I want to play in solos, and I don't want to feel like I'm hard countered by any other class in the dungeon. I have a fighting chance against any player I come across, and I love that about this loadout. Thought I blocked that. I got hit by the mage bolt. Now let's talk about the heavy version of the shield fighter build. This is the loadout I go to when I'm playing in a duos or trios environment, when I want to be able to frontline as a shield fighter, have tank ability with a good amount of mobility in the mix. It uses a Crusader helm, dark plate armor, dark leather legs, dashing boots, and heavy gauntlets. And you also see that here I'm kind of optimizing some of the additional stats for dexterity and agility, because again, those are the stats that I'm looking to prop up, because the dark plate, the dark leather legs, the dashing boots, they don't come with either agility or dexterity. So I'm looking for pieces in the market that give me those things. I've got a dexterity of 22, an agility of 19. My action speed is 6.2, my move speed is 279, 93%. So not the fastest, but again, in a duos or trios environment, move speed isn't the be-all and end-all, especially if you are more of a frontline tanky fighter. The reason I'm choosing the dark plate armor, the dark leather legs, and the dashing boots in particular is because each of these pieces also gives me more magic resistance. So this increases the tank ability, the versatility in the kinds of damage that this version of shield fighter can take in a frontline environment. Combined with barricade, you get the extra 50 magic resist in your defensive stance. That's a lot of extra magic resist. Right? That's over 100 extra magic resist. So that can be really helpful versus fireballs, ice bolts, zaps, whatever it is that you might be running into on the front line. It's also not horrible in solos. It's still fast enough that versus some players in solos, you might be able to close the gap, run them down. You'll notice that this is just one step up in terms of tankiness from the balanced build. I didn't go full plate because I find that the slowness, the move speed penalties, and the noise from plate boots, but the move speed penalties from more of the full plate is just too much for me. It's not my playstyle. I don't like being that slow. So that's why this version of my, quote, heavy build is kind of still like half plate. So keep that in mind. Finally, I'm going to push the barb. Pushing the barb. Pushing the barb. Barb is hurt. Barb's down.
Nice.
Got him.
Nice.
And here's a look at the light armor build. The light armor build is exactly that. It is light armor designed to help you go fast, close the gap, catch up to the annoying, fast, casting or kiting players that just want to do damage to you and run away. I am very frustrated by those classes, and so this is kind of like a necessity build sometimes, where if I find that on a certain night there's just so many fast classes that I can't catch otherwise, I put on this light armor to give me more movement speed, to give me a fighting chance against those classes that just want to run. Got him. It uses a Spangen helm, a light actin, leather leggings, adventurer boots, and leather gloves. And again, you can see here that most cases I'm stacking for agility as the optional additional stat. I have a dexterity of 25. I have an agility of 23. That gives me an action speed of 9.5 and a move speed of 297, 99% with my fists, which is pretty fast. Combine that with sprint, and you're going to have bursts of movement that are very quick, quicker than a lot of people can expect a lot of the time. For this build, I aim to use my shield to erase any magic damage or range damage that might be thrown my way as I'm pursuing or closing the gap on those fast classes. Because the armor is light, you are more susceptible to the high DPS, the fast attacking melee classes. Like rogue daggers or plate daggers are very dangerous for this class because you don't have the PDR. But that again is where the shield comes in handy. Learning to block the dagger attacks is going to be essential if you want to run this build. Blocked him. Oh, I got him. Just barely. Just barely. Okay, not for the faint of heart, but can be very effective against some of the most annoying classes in the game. Good luck. The last thing on the list today are some key gameplay tips. How do you actually play as a shield fighter? Here are my top recommendations. The first is to only go 1-for-1. Is to wait for the block, and after you get it, only attack once and then reset. This is not a high DPS, trading, tanky style of play. If you are not blocking, you are open to being hit. And against a lot of other classes that are optimized for DPS, you're going to lose that fight. So the shield fighter excels if you can go slow, if you can be patient and calm, block the attack, counterattack once, don't overextend, don't attack more than one time, reset, wait for the next block. If you do that 3 times in a row, then you are up in the combat. Then it is possible to open up a little bit, start trading damage, and see what you can get away with. But you have to wait. You have to get the blocks in first. So that's the most important tip. Top on the list. Don't overextend. Go 1-for-1. 1 block, 1 counterattack, and reset. We got him. Nice things. We got him. The second most important tip when you're using your shield is to really turn your camera to the side or to the top to get your shield in the right position to block the incoming attack. This is not intuitive. A lot of players get frustrated because it feels like they're being hit through their shield, when really they're just getting hit around their shield first, and then their shield is colliding with the weapon. If you want to block more consistently, the trick is to turn the camera 80 degrees. 80 degrees in the direction from which the attack is coming from. So attacks coming from overhead, 80 degrees up. Really crank your camera up. For weapons that come from the side, like the falchion, like the Zweihander, 80 degrees to the left or to the right, depending on the weapon that you're blocking. The first-person camera in Dark and Darker is weird. It really belies how much room there is around the sides and above your shield. Your character is much more exposed than it seems when you're in defensive stance. So training yourself to really turn the camera 80 degrees is going to protect your flank or protect your head and get you more consistent, reliable blocking. Huh. Nice try, dude. The third tip is to become a student of the game. Study attack patterns. Really understand the weapon combos that you're going against, because predictability and anticipation are of critical importance for shield fighters. If you, as a shield fighter, know exactly what attack is going to be coming your way next, and from what direction that attack will be coming, you'll be able to put your shield there more reliably. You'll be able to block more reliably. But that success in blocking is going to come from your game knowledge. For the most part, the weapon movesets in this game are pretty basic. There are only 1 or 2 things that most weapons can do against you. Regular attacks, alternate attacks, jumping attacks. That's basically it. And once you get a handle on what those attacks can be, or will be, you'll find that your ability to block those attacks and win combat will go through the roof. Got him. We got him. The last tip that I have for shield fighters is to use the darkness to your advantage. Use the darkness to get close. Use the darkness to do some of the initial work to close the gap to get into melee range. Because the shield and mace or the shield and sword are slow to have in your hands, it is in your interest to start the fight as close as you can to your opponent. which is why I've learned to use the dark. The last thing I'll say on this tip is about lighting. It is easier for you as a player to hide in the dark than maybe you think. The light that comes from your opponent's torch or lantern doesn't seem to light up the space as far from their POV than it does from your perspective. From your perspective, it looks like, based on the light on the ground or on the walls or area around your opponent, you'd think that you would be more visible in a dark space that you may be hiding. But from their perspective, the light from the torches, the light from the lanterns, doesn't seem to go as far as it appears in your first-person camera. So this means that you can wait a bit longer for your opponents to come close with a torch or to go past you with a torch. If you don't move, chances are they won't see you. Or you'd be surprised at how close they have to come to you before they realize that there is in fact another player right in front of them. So not only is this really fun to do, to hide in the dark and wait to the last minute to jump out and scare them, but also sometimes players will just move right past you. Like, it is remarkable how effective it can be just to stay still and hide in the dark and have players just go right on by. So embrace the darkness, give it a try, it's really, really fun. Sorry man, GG. Okay, that's it. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching, I appreciate your time. If you are interested in this class, if you are interested in trying out a shield fighter, the time is now. While there is still some parity in the gear score, early to mid-wipe is the best time to play a shield fighter, and I think it's one of the most fun and challenging ways to play the game. Do me a favor, if you start playing because of this video, if you decide to pick up shield fighter or to try the class out because of this video content, please let me know. Lots of people keep in touch with their progress, and it's always so awesome to hear. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Good luck in your adventures. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again soon.